Vamos a chequear el video de Marques Brownlee hablando sobre el Tesla Robotaxi. Vamos a ver qué
So,
dice.
the Tesla Robotaxi unveiling event was a couple days ago, and it might be the weirdest tech event I've ever been to. You might have seen some clips from it at this point. I was there. I rode in the self-driving Robotaxi. I explored the insane-looking Robovan, and I talked to the Optimus robot. And then I left.
Hay carros que se pueden manejar solos. Cuando ustedes andan en la autopista y los carros son medio modernos, ustedes pueden utilizar el cruise control. Y el carro más o menos se mantiene en la línea y todas esas cuestiones. Pero de que se maneje solo, es otra cuestión. Eso es otra cuestión.
Feeling kind of
Ya,
confused.
ya uno comienza a tener vibra de iRobot, la película en la cual estaba Will Smith hace como, qué sé yo, 15, 20 años atrás casi.
It was a weird event. So here are the three main big reasons why. So first of all, the RoboCab. This was the main thing that we knew we were going to see, this full unveiling of a fully self-driving Tesla. And we saw it, and it looked like this. Very, very much like a mini Cybertruck. Like you've got the light bar on the front, the light bar on the back, the complete lack of rear visibility. But then, of course, you can see it's a two-door, two-seater passenger car. People were wondering like what a full self-driving RoboCab or cyber taxi, whatever we're calling it, would actually look like, whether it looked dramatically different from a normal car like a Model 3 or even a Waymo. And there are some things that are significantly different about this thing they rolled out. I mean, on the outside, it's light gold. Every single one is this like silvery gold color, although there was never any mention of actual materials. Pretty small footprint. You can see there's no exterior door handles or mirror.
Lo hacen ver como una película de esa rara, como del viaje a Marte. No me acuerdo el nombre de la película de Arnold Schwarzenegger. Y cosas así, que esos carros se ven como medio rarones, como ese estilo. Ni siquiera se ven tan bonitos, porque hay carros que se ven más bonitos que eso, pero esa es la idea del futuro. Ustedes saben. Es lo que hay.
Or anything like that. And then, since they don't need any steering wheel or pedals, they can sort of push the seating position way back into this more like loungy seating position, kind of near the middle of the car. There's a center armrest, and there's a massive 21-inch touchscreen in the center. And yes, the doors go up. As if Tesla hasn't learned from their lessons of the Model X, they're making another crazy set of doors, which honestly is definitely a hit visually. It's a striking feature of this car alongside the wheels, which at first just look like these huge gold discs. But then when you take a closer look, they're actually just normal 21-inch low rolling resistance Continental tires, but they've painted half of the sidewall gold to match the caps in the middle. So it makes it look like a super thin, low profile tire with a huge wheel, but it's not, it's just paint. But either way, no idea how much of this is going to make it to any sort of final production. But after waiting in line for a bit, I got to ride in this thing for a few minutes. So I got in, the screen told me to buckle my seatbelt, and once I did, the door automatically closed. Pretty smart. Then I just selected the destination, which was on this screen along this route, which I assume was pre-mapped, and then it just started rolling, just started going. Now, I've been in a self-driving Tesla before, but this one is just a little bit more nervy since there's people everywhere, and
En China ya esa tecnología existe. Ya hay carros que se pueden manejar solo y cosas así. Pero yo he visto varios videos y hay personas que hablan en Twitter, en X, que hay algunos de esos carros que han tenido un accidente y cosas así porque se van fuera de control. Y ustedes saben que ya cuando uno broma con tecnología, por ejemplo, vamos a poner Windows de la computadora. De vez en cuando eso se frisa, eso a veces no trabaja como corresponde, los aparatos a veces no trabajan perfectamente, inclusive con su teléfono que a veces se frisa, hay que reiniciarlo, el app se colapsa, y todo eso pasa con todas esas cuestiones. Entonces, cuando uno trae un vehículo como este, que uno tiene ni siquiera acelerador, ni freno, no tiene guía, uno se siente como que uno no tiene control absoluto, inclusive en situaciones peligrosas.
there's no steering wheel in front of me. But once you get over the eeriness of basically being trapped in this driverless car with no manual override, I started looking around and noticing a few other things. You sit pretty low to the road, similar to a Model 3, but with more legroom since the seating position's further back. And then there's even fewer physical controls than ever before in this car. Like, I basically only found that the window switches were in the middle next to the cup holders. I didn't even see any door latches. Like, the door is only opened with a button on this enormous touchscreen. So, again, like a Tesla, it's going to control everything in the car on screen.
Oiga, lo que está diciendo que no hay forma de tú abrir la puerta si no es a través de la megatable que tiene Tesla antes. Eso no me gusta, porque no es que uno no diera una vuelta o un día cualquiera uno viajara en ese vehículo, no es eso. Que uno sabe, oye, cuando uno hace una cosa frecuentemente, ya el promedio, la posibilidad de que algo incómodo, difícil o malo pase, se incrementa. Entonces esa es la cuestión. Entonces uno tiene manija, imagínese uno atrapado dentro de eso y toda la electricidad se cae y el carro cogiendo fuego. Yo te diría una cuestión de prevención de accidentes y cosas así, que uno tiene que tener planes de contingencia, pero cuando eso no te deja manija, que tú puedas abrir ni nada de esas cuestiones, eso te quita contingencia, te quita plan B, te lo quita. Entonces eso es problemático. Queremos el futuro, pero queremos que sea amigable, que uno tenga la contingencia para uno poder hacer las cosas. Hay una musiquita por ahí, pero imagínense, vamos a ver cómo hacemos con eso.
Green, including just watching movies while the car is driving, because why not? So you can watch the entire trip that I took uncut on the Autofocus channel if you want. I'll link that below. But then the thing is, that's kind of all we got. Like, there were shockingly few details about the actual car actually explained at this event, other than basically like the three main pillars, which are going to be in all the headlines, which are, number one, that it will be fully unsupervised self-driving capable. Number two, that it will be able to be purchased for under $30,000.
Okay,
all right. But then number three, that it would actually also charge by inductive wireless charging. So it pulls up over this wireless.
Tesla, y el Tesla está muchísimo más del precio que le dijeron al principio. Eso solamente va a introducir para que la gente lo pueda decir, ok, sí, se puede comprar cosas así. Pero lo que pasó con el Tesla Cybertruck, que se hicieron promesas y no se cumplieron realmente. O sea, el vehículo está ahí, pero eso está sumamente más caro de lo que dijeron.
This charging pad on the ground, and it would charge that way. Not something we've seen shipping in very many cars, especially not ones with large batteries. But that was it. No other numbers, no other specs. Just look at this thing. There's just concepts of a plan. I just had so many other questions from after seeing that. Like, what is going on here? I did at the event walk around after the announcement and bump into some Tesla engineers and people who have been working on these things. And so I just ended up kind of grilling them. Like, I asked them a whole bunch of questions. So I'm going to tell you guys what I learned from them, and I guess we can take their word for it. So first of all, there is no steering wheel or pedals, as you can see. So my first question was, all right, let's say I see an accident coming, or there's something happening on the road in front of me and the car isn't reacting in time. Is there a manual override? And their answer I got was, sure, there will be some sort of minimal on-screen controls there.
Él está preguntando a los ingenieros sobre el accidente y cosas así, que si él ve que hay algo pasando en el camino y él quiere tener control porque el carro como que perdió el control, si él puede hacer algo. Y ellos dijeron, sí, le vamos a agregar algo, que todavía eso no está pulido. Todavía eso no está pulido. Entonces esa es una de las cuestiones. Déjame ver si tienen algo del Optimus. A ver si yo el robot en algún lado. Que ya eso va a comenzar Live Robot. Bueno, mira, ve que hay un semi-mini-book. Vamos a adelantarlo un poquito.
Second thing that was insane that was announced at this event, which is
Robovan.
the Robovan. So somewhere about halfway through this presentation, they roll out this one-of-one, super futuristic-looking, massive van thing. Kind of looked like the military vehicles from iRobot, to be honest, which that's probably not a good thing. But yeah, it rolls out, and they give us, again, very few details. This is going to be a Robovan that can hold like up to 20-ish people, and again, it'll be fully electric and fully autonomous.
Presentando al principio el robot Optimus. Que ya uno le ha pedido el miedo de esa cuestión porque uno siempre ve películas apocalípticas de robots y cosas así. Pero me gustan, por ejemplo, el estilo que tienen los robots en la película de REACCION, que tú lo puedes utilizar como guardaespaldas y cosas así. Sí, en ese sentido yo me compraría uno o un par. Porque imagínense. Imagínense, sería algo cool. Ahora, yo creo que van a ser un poquito caros, no sé. Y el problema es que esas cosas van a estar cogiendo datos de uno. Eso es problemático. Uno va a ver qué uno va a hacer con eso de verdad, ya después que esté listo. Hay muchas compañías que están trabajando para eso, pero él la quiere hacer como producción para que la gente la tenga en sus casas. Esos van a ser los nuevos vehículos ahora mismo porque las compañías siempre están haciendo cosas para que uno lo compre y uno lo tenga en su casa, qué sé yo qué. El nuevo Gold Rush, la robótica, los robots en las casas. Vamos a ver. Hay robots, recuérdense.
Autonomous and take groups or teams of people from point A to point B. No manual override necessary. Great. Have you ever been to CES? Have you ever watched videos from CES?
Sí.
Every year in January,
CES.
there's this trade show. It's really fun in Vegas. And if you ever go, you'll notice in the South Hall, there's a section with all the cars, the mobility section. And you'll find about 50 of these every year. There's just like a van with no steering wheel and a bunch of seats that all face the middle. And it's like the future of mobility concept. There's tons of those. None of them ever ship, of course, because there are rules. But I guess there's not, to me, a whole lot that differentiates that brief concept we saw at the Tesla event with dozens of other vaporware versions of this that I've seen before. That's all I'm saying. I mean, the fact that this one comes from Tesla is the main differentiator. This is the company that could maybe theoretically make it happen. But like I said, there's almost no details about this thing. And I have almost no faith that that thing that they showed.
Ok, está bien, vamos a ver si está el Optimus por fin. Ok, el Optimus está aquí.
This event this time, dancing, doing all over and back out the Optimus humanoid robot again. So they had these things all over this event this time, dancing, doing these pre-rehearsed demos, but also they were just kind of out and about. They were serving drinks and snacks, and they were walking around and interacting with and entertaining people, just like hanging out amongst everyone at this event. Now, I already have my thoughts that I've talked about, humanoid robots before. I made a whole video about it. If you want to watch it, I'll leave a link with a like button. I've talked about Tesla's Optimus, but even just what we saw with that would have been a huge step forward from what we've ever seen. Like, this would have been one of the most impressive things ever. But then they decided to take it further. They also decided to have these robots talking to people, and it was just, it was way too fast to be an LLM. Like, it's just, just watch this clip.
Would you like to piece of tacos? Right on. What's your name?
Vanessa.
De que yo tengo hablando.
Vanessa?
Yes, Vanessa.
Nice. Pleasure to meet you, Vanessa.
Nice to meet you too.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
Like, it's just a person. It's a person talking through a speaker. It even like stutters and makes occasional like human mistakes. If you watch a bunch of videos from the event, a bunch of different robots all have slightly different voices. Yeah, it was a person, for sure. And it's weird because Tesla, at no point, at least as of the time of recording, has not acknowledged this at all. They haven't said that or confirmed that, but people there at the event have heard various things from various engineers. I talked to 2 engineers who only would tell me, yes, all of the LLMs do run totally on device. But like, yeah, I don't think so. So this kind of became like the talking point of the whole event, like how now we don't know how much of this event was real or not so real, like how much of what these robots are doing is human controlled or AI. There were all kinds of hand waving and gestures and movements. I played charades with one of them. You know what it reminds me of? Remember that video I did at Disney's Imagineering Labs where they had these bipedal robots that were controlled by a Steam Deck controller? They did all kinds of walking around and stringing animations together to entertain people at the parks. There's just a bunch of button presses and controllers to make that happen. And sure, there's some AI to blend that stuff, but you could never deny that there's basically entirely human control happening here. And that's basically what I think is happening at this Tesla event. Lots of impressive and entertaining things in the form of a super advanced articulating robot stringing animations together, but it's just not totally ready to do this stuff on its own. We've never seen anything quite like it, even from Boston Dynamics, but we gotta be real about the human assisted part. But the thing is,
Usted lo ven que sincronizado, bailando y de todo, pero es que lo están manejando como drones.
Dream that they are selling people with this specific robot is that this thing will live with you, basically. It will be your human-sized friend, actually. They said that. It would be your friend. It would do chores for you. It would live around you and be able to do all these sorts of tasks on its own using the AI and the vision-based system. I think that's a really far-off dream. AI is really, really quickly improving, but I still think that's a far-off dream. So, to their credit, this event, it was insane. Like, they did a lot of things that could have gone wrong. And if you told me in 2024 that a company would do a bunch of self-driving car demos around tons of people just loose in the road, And they would have bipedal humanoid
Que
robots
se va a
roaming around
acabar
performing
un
tasks and
Judgment
entertaining
Day.
people at the same event. And that they would have a drone show. Like, that is just a lot of stuff in a row that is super high tech. That could go wrong, but somehow didn't. And they represented, I think, a very optimistic view of the future, even though it's very much still like concepts. It's a future that is potentially way more efficient, potentially way safer, and more impressive in general technologically.
Ok, ya vamos a pararlo ahí. No, es interesante ya ver cómo están empujando ese futuro. Mientras eso trabaje bien y no dé muchos problemas y cosas así, para mí está bien. El problema es que no funcione como ellos lo están vendiendo, como lo están promocionando. Ahí esa es la cuestión. Pero eso, todas esas cuestiones son inevitables. Alguna gente lo quiere, otra gente que le tiene un poquito de miedo y toda esa cuestión. Y todo eso es válido, pero estamos aquí ya. Claro, se le va a faltar, qué sé yo, aunque lo tiren el año que entra o algo así, pero le va a faltar unos años para pulirse. Qué sé yo, ya de aquí a 2030 o algo así, que ya ellos van a estar más o menos ya regulares. Y de ahí para allá, pulirse hasta... Vamos a ver hasta dónde llega todo esto. Vamos a acabar el video ya. Bye bye.